Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. A hug ain't just a hug. See, a lot of people think a hug is just two bodies touching. No. A real hug is communication without words. And when a man hugs you, that's a moment. That's a window. That's a chance for you to speak straight to his soul without even opening your mouth. When you hold a hug just 1 second longer than usual, you create an emotional shift that a man will never forget. Most hugs in daily life are quick, routine gestures, barely more than polite touches. But when you decide intentionally to extend that moment just a little bit longer, you break the pattern his body is used to. You introduce something new, something meaningful, something that carries weight. That 1 second isn't about time, it's about the unspoken message you deliver. A man may not analyze it consciously, but he will feel it deep in his nervous system. He'll feel that something in you chose to stay instead of pulling away. And that choice creates impact. A hug naturally activates a human instinct for comfort and connection, but an extended hug almost feels like a silent confession. It says, I feel something here. I want to be closer to you. And men, even the strongest, toughest, most guarded ones, are more sensitive to this than we realize. When you extend that hug, his body starts to relax in a different way. His shoulders drop, his breathing softens, his heart rate changes. He starts to come out of his head and into the moment. That 1 second tells him he is valued, wanted, and welcomed. There's a science to it too. When two people hug, the body releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone, but the body doesn't release its strongest dose in the first second. It builds. So when you hold on just a little longer, you allow that hormonal shift to deepen. It creates a warm, grounded sense of calm that he will associate with you every time he thinks of that moment. You become connected to his emotional memory, not just his physical experience. An emotional memory is what sticks with a man for a lifetime. But beyond science, it's about intention. A man can feel when a hug is rushed or empty, and he can feel when a woman is truly present. That extra second communicates presence. It communicates care. It communicates, I'm not here out of habit. I'm here because I want to be. If he cares for you, that second will hit him in a place he doesn't share with many people. And even if he doesn't show it, he will replay it later. Men don't always talk about these moments, but they remember them vividly. It also sets a tone. Most people break a hug at the same time. It's like an unspoken rule of politeness. When you break that rule gently and hold on, you signal confidence and emotional openness. You show that you're comfortable enough to let the moment breathe, and that energy is rare. It makes him feel special. It makes the hug feel like a moment instead of a gesture. A 1 second longer hug says more than any words could. It tells him there's something different about you. It tells him you connect with him, not just stand next to him. And because men crave emotional recognition but rarely receive it, that 1 second becomes unforgettable. Matching his breathing during a hug is one of the most powerful ways to create a subconscious bond, because it tells his nervous system that he is safe with you. Most people don't think about breathing when they hug. They just hold on and wait for the moment to end. But when you intentionally tune into his rhythm, when you notice his chest rise and fall, and you let your own breath naturally sync with his, you create a feeling of unity that goes far deeper than physical closeness. This is something humans are naturally wired to respond to. When two people breathe in harmony, their heartbeats start to mirror each other and their bodies fall into a shared, peaceful state. He won't consciously realize what's happening, but he will feel a shift inside himself. He will feel like being close to you feels right. When a man hugs you, even if he tries to hide it, there is always a moment of vulnerability. He may be thinking, should I hold her tighter? Should I let go now? Does she feel comfortable? Men often overthink even the simplest moments, especially when they care, but when your breathing matches his mind quiets, he feels your presence instead of your doubt. He senses your calm instead of your hesitation. That alignment tells him he doesn't have to perform or pretend. He can simply exist in the moment with you, and that is something men rarely get from the world. As his chest rises and yours rises with it, something gentle happens inside him. It feels like connection without pressure. It feels like understanding without words. It feels like peace in human form. That is what men remember. A woman who can calm his spirit instead of excite his stress becomes unforgettable because men live with silent pressures they rarely talk about. When you sync your breath with his, you aren't just hugging him, you are absorbing some of that pressure and giving him ease in return. Matching breath is also a way of telling him that you're emotionally aware. Most people hug without being present, but you are choosing to be fully in the moment. You are tuned into him, not distracted, not thinking ahead, not rushing away. That presence speaks volumes. It shows him that you are not just physically close, but emotionally connected. It subtly communicates, I'm here with you. I feel this moment the way you feel it. And that acknowledgement, even without words, hits a man deeply because it is rare for him to feel understood without having to explain himself. As the hug continues, the synchronization creates a gentle pull, a harmony that surrounds him. It softens his defenses. It warms his emotions. It makes him feel grounded. Later, when he's alone, he might not remember every detail of the hug, but he will remember how he felt while holding you. He will remember the calm, the warmth, the balance of it. And he will not forget the woman who made him feel that way simply by matching his breath. Placing your hand gently on the back of his neck or upper back during a hug creates an emotional signal that reaches a man in a way most gestures cannot. This touch is powerful because it taps into a place where men instinctively carry tension, responsibility, and unspoken pressure. The back of the neck is one of the most sensitive areas on a man's body, not in a physical sense alone, but emotionally. It's where stress gathers, where he keeps his guard up, where he holds the weight of everything he feels he must handle. When your hand touches that area softly, without force or expectation, it sends a message straight into his nervous system that says, you can relax here. You don't have to be strong right now. Most men are not used to tenderness. They're used to giving support, not receiving it. So when a woman places her hand there during a hug, it feels like an unspoken permission to let go for a moment. That simple touch can undo knots in his heart he didn't know he had. It tells him he is seen, not just admired. It tells him he is cared for, not just desired. And that difference is everything. It separates a temporary moment from a deeply memorable one. This gesture also shows confidence. A hesitant touch communicates uncertainty, but a soft, steady hand communicates emotional strength. It tells him you are comfortable enough to step into his space with assurance, yet gentle enough to do it with kindness. Men respond incredibly strongly to this blend of softness and certainty. It creates a feeling of trust that he won't forget. Your hand at the back of his neck says, I choose to be close to you, and that choice is felt, not heard. It also deepens the physical connection of the hug. Instead of two bodies simply touching, it becomes a shared emotional experience. The hand on his neck brings him closer in a way that instinctively feels protective and intimate. It activates feelings he rarely expresses, feelings of wanting to hold you tighter, keep you close, and remember the way your touch made him feel seen. Because this isn't a casual gesture. It's intimate in the quietest, most meaningful way. When you place your hand there, you're speaking to a man through touch alone. You're saying, I'm here, I feel you, I trust this moment, and without realizing it, he will start to feel safer with you than he has with many others. That's the kind of moment a man replays later when he's thinking about you. Not your words, not the setting, just the way your hand felt on his back, grounding him and warming him at the same time. Touch communicates what words can't, and that area of a man's body, the place where he carries his unseen stress, becomes the gateway to emotional memory. When you touch him there gently during a hug, you create a moment that imprints itself on him. It becomes a feeling he will search for again, because that tenderness stays with him long after the hug ends. Relaxing your body into the hug is one of the strongest ways to make a man feel truly connected to you, because it shows him that you are not resisting the moment. You are surrendering to it. Most people hug with tension without even realizing it. Their shoulders stay tight, their arms stay stiff, their bodies hover slightly instead of melting into the other person. This creates distance even when two people are technically close. But when you allow your body to soften, to drop its defenses, to lean into his embrace with ease, you create an entirely different feeling. This tells him you feel safe. This tells him you trust him. This tells him you're not just physically present, but emotionally open. A man can feel the difference immediately. A stiff hug feels like politeness. A soft, relaxed hug feels like affection. A man might not know how to describe it, but he knows how it feels. And when your body relaxes against his, something inside him shifts. His instinct is to hold you closer. His mind quiets. His emotions begin to connect to the moment. He feels like he matters because your relaxed embrace shows that you are not guarded. You're not calculating. You're not rushing to pull back. You're here with him, and your body is speaking that truth louder than any words. Relaxation also creates emotional clarity. When your body lets go, you send him a message of warmth and acceptance. A man is used to tension in the world, in his responsibilities, in daily pressures. When he hugs you and feels a softness he doesn't feel anywhere else, that sensation becomes tied to you. Humans remember contrast. If the world feels heavy and you feel soft, he will always come back to the softness. It's not about dependence. It's about emotional recognition. You become the calm in his chaos, the comfort in his day, the peace he didn't know he needed. When you relax into a hug, your breathing becomes smoother, your energy becomes lighter, and your presence becomes clearer. He feels your heartbeat differently. He feels your warmth more deeply. He feels like he is holding a person who trusts him enough to let go for a moment. And that trust is the most memorable part of the experience. Men value being the source of comfort for someone they care about. When your body relaxes, you allow him to feel that he is providing that comfort, that he is a safe place for you too. A relaxed body also pulls his emotions closer because you're not pushing energy outward or holding yourself away. You're merging the moment, letting it settle naturally. It becomes a shared experience instead of two individual ones. He will feel it in the way you lean in, the way your arms wrap around him, the way your shoulders drop softly against his. Every small detail tells him, you're someone I feel good with, and that message sticks. Later, when he thinks about you, he won't just remember your face or your words. He will remember the way it felt when your whole body relaxed in his arms, as if that moment belonged to the two of you alone. Whispering something soft and genuine during a hug is one of the most intimate ways to touch a man's heart, because it speaks directly to his emotions at a moment when he is already vulnerable and open. A hug brings his guard down, but your words, if chosen carefully, go straight into the quiet parts of him that he doesn't show to the world. Men rarely receive gentle words.